Hi, everyone. My name is Kathy Mazak, and I am about to walk you through the Amplify Pre-Tenure Assessment. This assessment is based on a framework that we created after working with hundreds of academic women who have gone up for tenure, and also my own experiences going up for tenure. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk you through the framework, and what you need is some way to mark red, yellow, or green. Okay, so red, yellow, green. If you're doing this with a PDF version, you can use the little highlighter feature. If you have a crayon set nearby, you could use a crayon, you could use a highlighter. You need red, yellow, and green. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to share my screen with you. All right, here we go. So this is the Amplify framework for going up for tenure with confidence. And if you're going to go up for tenure with confidence, you need to work on three main areas. And you see them here in that teal color: clarify, demystify, and multiply. Now, when you have clarity around who you are as an academic, who you want to become as a scholar, and you've demystified the processes of academia that are like so hidden, right? Like the things about how are you actually getting the writing done? How do you actually manage a pipeline? When you clarify and demystify, you save time. Okay, so when you're super clear on who you are and where you want to be, and you have the processes and all the secrets, right, of how people actually do it, when you have those two things, you save time. When you have clarity about who you are and what you want out of your career, and you multiply yourself out and become more effective by mentoring and connecting with community, you will publish more. And when you've demystified the systems and processes and you've multiplied your effectiveness, you will change academic culture. Okay, so this is the heart of the Amplify framework. And now I'm going to talk you through the spokes. And this is where you'll need some way to mark red, yellow, or green, because this is a self-assessment. Okay, and what I want you to do is mark yourself as red, yellow, or green based on how I explain the different spokes. Okay, ready? Let's go. So I'm going to start down here with map your mission. All right. So map your mission refers to having a clearly written academic mission statement and a milestone map that is not just the kind of handed to you or received milestones of academia, which are, right, like get the tenure track job or get the PhD, maybe get a postdoc depending on your field, get the tenure track job, get the promotion and tenure, and maybe go up for full if you're not completely exhausted, right? Those are the received milestones. We need for you to have, or in order to go up for tenure with confidence, you need to have a milestone map that both looks back to your accomplishments, the major milestones in your career so far, and out into the future about what you want to accomplish. And the idea here is that we need to break from those received milestones and really be thinking about our own milestones. What do we want to do? How do we want to get it done? So if you have a written academic mission statement and a milestone map created, then you're going to mark yourself green. If you have one of those two things, you're going to mark yourself yellow. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about and you've never heard about this before, you're going to mark yourself red. Okay. Next step, we're going to go around the framework. So the next step is align your activities. Now, what this means is that all of the things that you do are aligned under your mission statement and helping you work towards achieving the milestones along your milestone map. So if you feel like your teaching, research, and service are all about the same thing, they're all supporting your mission, then you get a green, okay? If you feel like, well, my research and my teaching are pretty aligned, but my service is kind of hanging out there and not supporting my my research or my teaching in any way, or some combination like that, then you can give yourself a yellow. And if you feel like you actually do like that your research is completely disconnected from your teaching, is completely disconnected from your service, then you want to give yourself a red for align your activities. Okay, next in the framework is strategize your pipeline. So a pipeline strategy is a concrete kind of plan for where you want to place your work, who you want to be in conversation with, and how those things support your mission statement and your milestones. So if you have a pipeline strategy mapped out, then you're going to give yourself a green. Okay, so that means you know that your target journals, you know the tier of journal that is appropriate for you to reach your milestones. You know who you're in conversation with, and that's all very clear and strategized already, then you get a green. If you are like, well, I know the top journals of my field and I should probably be aiming for those, but that isn't something that you've really thought about a lot or strategized, right? Like you're just like, well, I'm going to do the top. That's the default. That's actually not a strategy. And we need to talk about that more. So you would give yourself a yellow. And if you have been taking the attitude of like, I'm just going to publish all the things, like wherever they get published, anything, anything that could be a publication, I'm going to put into my pipeline, then you get a red, because that's a funnel, not a pipeline. You're smushing all the stuff in the top and getting a little drip out the bottom, instead of a pipeline where you're curating what goes in and what comes out. Okay, let's move on to the demystify bubble. In demystify, we start with creating writing systems. So a writing system is a way to make sure that you are writing consistently and creating a positive relationship with your writing while you do it. So if you're writing consistently, like every day, except you hate it, and every time you sit down to do it, you want to puke, then that's not what we're looking for. That's like a yellow, maybe. A green in writing systems would be you keep dates with your own writing. You know when your writing blocks are. You know when your best times to write are, and you keep them sacred on your calendar. You know how, if you fall off your consistency, you know how to get back on, and you have a reward system developed for your writing. That is a green. Yellow is you have some of those things. Maybe with yellow, you are like, you're using a write every day or a certain minimum number of words per day system, but when you get off, it's hard to get back on, you feel crappy about it, like that's yellow. And red is you just keep waiting for big blocks of time that never come. And so there's no system to it at all. All right, let's move on to reset your mindset. Okay, mindset around writing and career is huge. We are given all these messages from academia about, how we're supposed to be working all the time, how we're also supposed to be working all the time for like very little money. Like there's all of these messages that are very much focused on scarcity, right? Like scarcity of time, scarcity of resources, energy, scarcity of publications. Have you done mindset work around that? So if yes, if you have done mindset work, which means that you've analyzed those thoughts, you have a plan for counteracting negative thoughts when they come up, and you have kind of chipped away at that veneer of the messages that we're receiving from academia, then you can have a green. If you need to work on your mindset, if you experience imposter syndrome, but you have it identified as a problem, you can give yourself a yellow. And if you're like, mindset doesn't matter, you give yourself a red. Okay. The next part is managing your pipeline. Now, this is good. Managing your pipeline means that you have a systematic and consistent way of moving things through your pipeline. So give yourself a green if you have your pipeline mapped out. So you have every project that's in play right now mapped out in some way, whether it's with sticky notes on a board or whether it's in a Trello app or just in a doc or a spreadsheet, that you know all the projects that are in play and how, where you are right now with each of them. And you have a plan for moving them through the pipeline. Okay, a plan, an articulated plan. That's a green. Yellow, if you've got your pipeline mapped out, but you have trouble moving things through the pipeline because you don't really have a clear plan, that's a yellow. And if you have never mapped out your pipeline and it's all in your head, then that's a red. All right, let's go around the bottom. We're going to jump to implement systems, okay, in the multiply part. So for implementing systems, what this means is that you have systems around your interactions with students, your email, your scheduling, your calendar, okay? So you have systems that save you time and energy that cut across the writing, not just for writing, for all the things that you do. So time management systems, project management systems. If you have systems like that in place for your projects, your calendar, your work with students, then give yourself a green. If you have some of those, but not all of them, give yourself a yellow. And if you don't have any systems and you feel like you're like repeating work all the time and just like barely scraping by, you get a red. Okay, the next part, create community. Now, if we're ever going to get through and over and around and destroy the culture of academia that tells us that overworking, that glorifies overwork, we need to connect with like-minded community. So do you have a community of people around you who are actively working on these things, who have decided to reject the culture of overwork, and who are deciding to live out their academic lives in a different way, knowing that that way is going to help them? You get a green for that. Yellow if, well, maybe, and red if you're feeling isolated, right, and alone. And then mentor for change is the last part of our framework. What you want in mentor for change is you want to be an awesome mentor, but not have it completely suck the life out of you, okay? So when you're mentoring for change, you get a green if you have systems for mentoring, if you are not letting the mentoring explode and take over everything, but rather you are doing it in a way that's cup filling for you and effective for your mentors. And so you get a green for that. Yellow is like, maybe you're doing a lot of mentoring and that's great, but you don't quite, but it's kind of like seeping, it's ballooning in your schedule. And then red is, you're burnt out on mentoring and you really need some system or some way to make it better. So that is our Amplify Framework assessment. What I want you to do is I want you to look at how you rated yourself. What is your dominant color in the clarify section, right? Is it red, green, or yellow? How about in demystify? Red, green, or yellow? Multiply, red, green, or yellow? What are the areas that you need to focus on in order to go up for tenure with confidence? Now, if you're watching this video because you're invited to our special training, I want you to bring your answers to those questions to the training and I will see you there. If you're watching this video on YouTube or in some other place and you're not coming to the training, I hope that you got something out of considering all of these areas of the Amplify framework, because what I want for you is to go up for tenure with confidence, amplify your voice, be heard, but do it on your terms. Have a great day. Bye.